we just got a brand new trailer for what could be one of the greatest PlayStation games releasing this console generation. And I'm not even kidding. Sony just revealed a brand new PlayStation Presents dedicated towards Death Stranding 2 at South by Southwest that was just the other week. And the panel was going to include various people from the game's production, including game director Hideo Kojima, actors Norman Reedus and Troy Baker, PlayStation content manager Kirsten Zatani, and musician/artist for the game, Woodkid. And not only that, but they also decided to announce a brand new trailer for the game, 10 minutes of new footage, and oh my days, we have to talk about this. So first up, we're going to talk about the graphics. Now, for those of you who've been around the channel for a while, one thing you guys will probably know is that I'm a big fan of beautiful and realistic looking graphics in video games. And oh my days, what this game has achieved is absolutely phenomenal. So, similarly to Death Stranding 1, Death Stranding 2 is also going to be running on the Decima engine, which, for those of you who don't know, is the same engine that Guerrilla Games used for Horizon Forbidden West, and that was used way back in the day for the original Until Dawn. Now, if you go back and look at the original Until Dawn, that game was released in like 2014 and still holds up really well. And Horizon Forbidden West by Guerrilla Games is probably the greatest looking game currently released on the PlayStation 5. And now we have this, which, oh my goodness, just look at this. Personally, I'd currently say that the Decima engine is one of, if not the best current game engines being used, and not to mention, this trailer features both gameplay and in-game cinematics. So these aren't just random cutscenes made just for the trailer, this is actually captured on the PS5 as well, which makes this even more mind-boggling. The lighting, the ray tracing, the detail, the incredible draw distance is absolutely phenomenal. And yet again, these are being run on a PlayStation 5. Not the PS5 Pro, not a beefed up PC, a PlayStation 5, a home game console. That's right, a home game console. To think that we would ever get to this level of graphics, like I remember seeing GTA 5 years ago and thinking, oh my days, this is the most realistic thing I've ever seen. How can graphics keep improving from here? And then the PS4 generation came out, and I saw The Last of Us Part 2, and I was like, oh my goodness, these graphics are absolutely amazing. How can we improve graphics from here? And now Death Stranding 2's come out and they're like, well, here's the improved graphics. We've done it. Somehow, they have pulled off the absolute beauty of this game. And also within the game, there are so many amazing new environments to explore. In Death Stranding 1, a lot of the environments, although there were still some new environments, it does not seem like there were anywhere near as many as this, because just checking out some that they've shown in this trailer. We've got dry and deserted mountain ranges, beautiful sunset-covered lakesides. We've got mountains backed by gentle auroras that are mountain peaks high above the clouds. There's even a shot of the moon right up close to Earth, which looks really sick in my opinion. There's dense overgrown jungles, tar-ridden wastelands, other chiralium-affected environments, and so many others. And on top of all the brand new and cool environments, we also seem to have natural disasters added into the game as well, with them showcasing gameplay for bushfires, sandstorms, lightning, avalanches, these chiralium eruption things? Who knows what they are? And the last game, really, we mostly just had timefall, so to seeing all these cool different ways the weather can make our journey even more difficult, as much as a pain that's probably going to be during gameplay, it actually seems like a really cool idea, and I can't wait to be climbing up a mountaintop and having to run with all the cargo on the back of my little boy, Sam Porter Bridges, trying to run out of there to escape an avalanche. Does that not sound insanely cool? Anyway, on top of all that, cities seem to be much more developed in this game, and we also seem to be able to travel much further on zip lines than before. Something I really hope to take advantage more of in this game, because I did not master that feature like at all in the first game, and looking back at like everyone else's playthroughs, kinda wish I had learnt that function, or at least tried it out more than I had. There also appears to be this huge cargo train thing you can use to transport from one location to another. Whether you can take a ton of cargo with you, I'm presuming you'd be able to be, but it seems like a really cool concept, and yet again just shows how much further these cities and society as a whole has developed since the last game. Another thing they touched on within the trailer is the characters. So not only did we get to see a ton of old returning characters, but we've also got a lot of brand new characters as well. Now, I'm probably going to butcher a lot of these names, but the characters they've revealed so far are Sam Porter-Bridges, played by Norman Reedus, Fragile, played by Lea Seydoux, Lou is also back, played by, we're not sure still, Hartman, played by Nicholas Winding Refn, and Higgs, played by Troy Baker, who also has a new Rockstar-like design, which is very different from the first game, so gonna be interesting to see how that plays into his character's story arc. And also, Hideo Kojima did say about Higgs that Higgs' character is much better than it was in Death Stranding 1, and he admitted that you'll probably say, "What is this?" before throwing your controller at the wall by the end of the game, so I don't know what that means for Higgs' character and what's going to happen, but I'm definitely interested to find out. As for new characters, we've got Tarman, who's played by George Miller, who happens to be an Australian director and filmmaker, which, as a fellow Australian, it is so cool to see another Aussie in such a big game like this, because you don't really see Australians and like hear their accents very often in like huge media projects, so it's going to be cool to kind of hear and see that in Death Stranding 2. We've also got Tomorrow, played by Elle Fanning, Dolman, played by Fatih Akin, whose character only appears to be played back at a low frame rate, which apparently is to represent like stop motion animation, which kind of reminds me of Spider-Man 2 and what they did with the Into the Spider-Verse suit from that game. We've also got Rainey, played by Shioli Kutsuna, the President, played by Alistair Duncan, Lucy by Alyssa Jung, Neil by Luca Marinelli, whose character also appears to look like Solid Snake from the Metal Gear series at one point, which, although I've never played the Metal Gear series, especially for Metal Gear fans, definitely seems like a cool nod. And the Doctor, who is played by Deborah Wilson, whose character also has two right hands. Interesting choice, but yet again, this is the Death Stranding universe. Things are going to be weird, things are going to be crazy. I think that's what you kind of expect. And we also have a couple of mysterious characters who we don't actually know who's playing them. One of them being Charlie, who's this floating talking head thing, and the other being a red samurai, which appears to be a samurai for this new mysterious group in the game. And although it hasn't been announced, similarly to how we saw like Conan O'Brien in Death Stranding 1, I'm kind of predicting that Raka Raka, Michael and Danny Filippo, may actually be in Death Stranding 2 in some type of similar role, just because I've seen them featured on a lot of Hideo Kojima's like Instagram stories and stuff like that, and he's done that with a handful of the characters in Death Stranding 1. As an Australian, yet again, it'd be really cool to see another Aussie, or another set of Aussies, in this game. So yeah, if Raka Raka, Michael and Danny Filippo happen to be in this game, I'm calling that prediction now. If not at least in one of Hideo's other upcoming projects. But my guess is for Death Stranding. As for groups, there have been two new kind of factions mentioned in this trailer. The first one being Drawbridge, with the slogan, "To protect and connect." And it appears to be the main characters on this new ship called the DHV Magellan. The other new group is this mysterious group which wears these like red robes and has these like BB backpack things on. They seem to be both connected to Higgs and Red Samurai somehow. I don't exactly know what their role is. They appear to be having a ritual at one point in the trailer and also walking towards this like continental gate thing, which we'll get to shortly. But yeah, presuming they're kind of like the new mules or like the bad guys of this game. But it'll be interesting to find out more once the game actually comes out. And let's be honest, one of the more important character types for this game series are the beach things. Now we appear to still have the original standard BTs, but they also showcase a ton of brand new beach things as well, and oh my days, we seem to have this brand new big hand creature thing that comes and attacks you from the tar. There's this tar covered skull that tries to drag Sam within it, and there's also this huge octopus thing covered in red, presuming it's going to be linked to Higgs and that whole red-robed bad guy group somehow. I don't know how. Higgs does his thing with the whole tar beach things and all that, so it's Death Stranding. I'm not going to be able to predict where this story is going to go, let's be honest, but Point being, it looks cool, but even cooler than that. And I can't believe this is an actual thing, but yet again, this is the Death Stranding series. I should not be surprised. Not only are Titan BTs back, which, yet again, that's the normal part of this sentence. Titan BTs are back, but you can merge the DHV Magellan ship, and Hartman at one point in the trailer controls a giant BT from within like a VR headset in the ship. That's right, Hartman, with a VR headset, controls a Titan BT as the ship connects to the Titan BT. Now, this is just some Yu-Gi-Oh! Take the Titan BT, take this spaceship, polymerize them together like we're in Yu-Gi-Oh! And Bob's your uncle, we got a character called Magellan Man? So, yeah, we've had Yu-Gi-Oh! Polymerization come into this game and done that. Crazy, but yet again, this is Death Stranding. I think this is what you kind of expect when you play a Death Stranding game. But my days, it seems incredibly cool, and if we get to control Magellan Man at some point in the game, please, Hideo, let me control that thing. If we can be this huge Titan BT and control it and fight other Titan BTs as Magellan Man outside of a cutscene, oh my days, that'd be so cool. I don't know whether they're gonna pull it off, but yet again, it's Death Stranding, and with this current console generation and the power they've got access to within it, who knows? It could happen. And they'd be really sick if it does. So next up, we've got to talk about the story. So as Hideo Kojima discussed within the panel, Death Stranding 1 was all about the idea of getting connected. Humans are social creatures and we need each other to get by and to live and to thrive. So Death Stranding was all about connecting with each other. But for Death Stranding 2, he's really flipped the idea on its head and gone in the complete opposite direction. As he said, in Death Stranding 2, the world is connected now. And being inspired by the pandemic, Death Stranding 2 is about questioning whether we really should be so connected. And especially in modern times where you can get in contact with just about anyone around the world simply by having one of these, it is kind of a cool concept to go into and explore of, okay, well, as humans we need to be connected, it's good to be connected, but is there such a thing as being too connected? As for the setting, it takes place 11 months after the birth of the UCA was formed, and all deliveries have been automated. Also, as we were kind of referring to earlier, there's a new structure called the Plate Gate that connects all of the continents together. And there's also a new ship called the DHV Magellan that travels the tar currents and beaches that shake the earth, which takes place all as a part of Drawbridge, that group we discussed earlier. And not only do they discuss the story concepts for the game, but we also get quite a few leaders into various plots within the story. First up, Neil and an unknown character that appears to be the secretary to the president admit that they've both done dirty work for each other, and both appear to be blackmailing each other to keep the deal alive. Neil also admits to smuggling cargo in the form of brain-dead pregnant women into the US from Mexico, which sounds like it's a connection to someone, possibly the president, or someone related to them, trying to keep the BB experiment alive. And although Neil admits to doing it, he also implies that he was forced to do it, so maybe this is a part of that blackmail deal they were talking about earlier. Lucy also appears to pass across an ultrasound picture to Neil, which in combination with their conversation, kind of implies that she might be pregnant and that he might be the father. Following on, Sam's still looking after Lou, although Lou's a bit older this time, and out of the bridge baby pod. And I'm curious to know how this affects Sam's ability to see BTs, because Lou as BB was helping Sam see the BTs, whereas Sam could just sense them, so how that's gonna work, I don't know, but that'll be interesting to see if maybe just their connection alone is strong enough for them to share these Doom's powers like that. A beach is shown covered in rows of servers, and that is surrounded by a ton of BTs in the sky. That new mysterious faction we were talking about earlier, they're shown wearing red robes with the bridge baby looking backpacks on, which maybe is implying some type of updated bridge baby mechanic. And the other thing is, it also looks very similar to one of the cutscenes later on, where we actually see Higgs standing in what appears to be an adult version of those bridge baby pods. I have no clue. Maybe it's an updated version of that mechanic. Probably going to be for a boss fight, but it'll be interesting to see where they actually go with it all now. There's also a mention of the unending sixth extinction and a final journey with the dead. So could this mean that this is the final game in the series and that our whole goal is to just prevent the sixth extinction? I don't know, it could also maybe just mean that this could be the final game featuring beach things maybe. And a Death Stranding 3 without beach things would be interesting to see how they actually take that story. Especially with BTs being such an integral part to the story leading up to this point. But, yet again, it's way too early to kind of judge any of that kind of stuff, and who knows where the story's going to go. Later on in the trailer, Fragile retells a situation about how she couldn't protect Lou. Another cutscene plays out with her trying to make a jump to another location with Lou, but she says that she can't, stating that she doesn't see her as equipment anymore, before attempting to jump only Lou out of the situation, just as she's confronted by Higgs. We then get teasers to various other plot points in the game, with some of those being the Doctor finding a bridge baby unit, who's then seen with Rainey and another mysterious character, a character and what appears to be his daughter with Dollman discovering a BT reaching out to them, Neil and Lusing having a heated emotional moment, Rainey being attacked by rogue mules, Red Samurai carrying Higgs similar to a bridge baby, Tomorrow controlling Chiralium, Tarman without a hand and him being made of tar, Tomorrow and Higgs appearing the same as each other, Higgs without his mask and with unknown writing on his forehead, and so many more. And the final plot point shown, as if we haven't gone through enough already, shows Sam and Fragile kissing, with the title screen then appearing as Higgs vows to make a lasting connection with the Lady in Red, the perfect ending humanity deserves. So does this mean that Higgs is going to try and reconnect with Amelie to start the 6 Extinction event? And if so, how does he get to a beach? My only guess is with the BB he got from her in the last game, but yet again, I got no clue. Alright, now that we've covered all the story elements, which yet again, I know was a lot, let's get into one of the other, I guess, lesser important elements, but incredibly important in keeping the moment alive, which is the music. So in this game, similar to Death Stranding 1, we have the returning Ludwig Forssell, did some amazing music in the first game, but on top of Ludwig, we actually have Woodkid, who I believe did some music for the Arcane Netflix series before, as well as actually being the one to create the music for this trailer, which, if this trailer music is anything to go by, and with Ludwig back as well from Death Stranding 1, I think this soundtrack is going to be really great. I really hope they do bring back Low Roar for some stuff, because I really like some of the music they had from the first game as well, but I guess it's one of those things that we're just going to have to find out in due time when the game actually comes out. On the next topic, the release date, I can't believe I'm saying this, Death Stranding 2, that's right, Death Stranding 2 is releasing on June 26th, 2025. That's like 3 months away. We've heard some bits and pieces about this game. I think there was one other major trailer that had been previously released, apart from the announced trailer. This is like our second big trailer for the game. And this game is 3 months away? Also the fact that this game's not releasing during the Christmas holiday period. But I guess also considering this year GTA 6 is meant to be coming out, whether that gets delayed or not, I don't know. But I guess having a time where not as many games are coming out and not having to compete with GTA 6, because let's be honest, I think just about everyone and their parents and their parents' parents is going to be picking up that game when it comes out. So having Death Stranding come out at a different release cycle to that game, I think is a good idea for sales. But yeah, 3 months away, and on top of that, if you pre-order the game, you get the game 48 hours earlier, so you can actually play it on June 24th, 2025. That's one of the pre-order bonuses if you've ordered either the Digital Deluxe or Collector's Edition, which I think now is actually a good time to discuss all that, and the price. So there are 3 different versions of Death Stranding releasing this year, and all the prices discussed at this point in the video are going to be in Australian dollars, so keep that in mind when converting it to whatever currency your country uses. So first up is the Standard Edition, which in Australia you can get from JB Hi-Fi for $99. And with the pre-order, you also get the in-game items of a custom hologram quokka with an early unlock, a Battle Skeleton Silver level 1, 2, and 3, Boost Skeleton Silver level 1, 2, and 3, and a Boca Skeleton Silver level 1, 2, and 3. Now for the Digital Deluxe Edition, you can get that for $139.95 from the Australian PlayStation Store. And not only does that include everything from the Standard Edition pre-order, you also get 48 hours early access to the game, and the in-game items of a machine gun, level 1 early unlock, a Battle Skeleton Gold levels 1, 2, and 3, Boost Skeleton Gold levels 1, 2, and 3, a Boca Skeleton Gold level 1, 2, and 3, Patch 70 Quokka, Patch 71 Chiral Feline, and Patch 72 Why Me. And finally, for the Collector's Edition, which also includes a digital game code, you could get it from EB Games for $369.95, although it was locked to EB World members and is currently pre-sold out, so I don't know if they're going to be getting any more stock, but as of now, it's pre-sold out. And within that, you'll also receive the same content as the Standard Edition and Digital Deluxe Edition pre-orders, as well as a collector's box, a 15-inch Magellan Man statue, a 3-inch Dolmen figurine, art cards, and a letter from Hideo Kojima. And look, as much as I love this game, even if it was available, the $369.95 collector's edition is way too much for me. Especially because personally, I also like to have a physical copy of the game, so I'm probably just going to pick up the standard edition at some point. I might even wait for a sale later on down the line. But in saying that, let me know in the comment section down below. If you're going to pick up this game, what edition would you get? So that is basically everything from the PlayStation Presents, covering the game at least. Personally, looking really cool. I can't wait to play this game. The fact that it's coming out in like 3 months is insane. But on top of all that, they also covered a couple bonus things which I'll quickly touch on now. Firstly, they announced a live Death Stranding Orchestral Music World Tour called the Death Stranding Strands of Harmony World Tour. And it'll be featuring music from both Death Stranding 1 and Death Stranding 2 synced up to on-screen footage. And will include various artists from the series such as Low Roar, Ludwig Forsell, as well as possibly some other guest appearances on the tour too. But that wasn't really confirmed, it was more so just suggested as it's an idea they've currently got in the works. The tour will be coming to 19 global cities around the world, including Sydney, London, Los Angeles, Yokohama, and more, with the possibility for extra dates to be added for future cities along the way. And it'll be starting November 8th, 2025 at the Sydney Opera House. Along with the Strands of Harmony World Tour, there's also going to be a watch collaboration with Hamilton's, featuring a recreation of the watch that Neil's character wears in the game, and it'll be releasing on June 26, 2025, which is the same date that the game releases. Overall, this trailer's been absolutely amazing, and yet again, as someone who's a huge graphical fan, to see the amazing graphics and locations in this game, to see some of the cool story and plot points that they've kind of started to tease through this trailer, and the fact that this game is releasing in 3 months is absolutely mind-boggling to me. But as much as this trailer answers so many questions, it also creates so many new questions as well. Who is this new mysterious group in the red robes? How is Higgs planning to start the 6th Extinction event? How does Sam's ability to see BTs work without his connection to Lou as a BB? And so many more. But the one question it doesn't ask is, why is the PS5 Pro actually worth the $1,300 price tag? And if you want to find out why it actually is, then check out this video to find out more.